My name is Shannon Reed, and I'm 29 now. 3 years ago, I was grinding as a marketer in Miami, just a quick drive from Atlanta where Mom and Dad hold court. That Wednesday, rain-soaked and late. I sprinted down my apartment stairs for a client pitch. My heel snagged a slick step, body twisted, and I slammed down hard, hip cracking, ankle shattered, ribs bruised raw. Paramedics hauled me to the ER, monitors beeping through the haze. I fumbled my phone, punched Mom's number. It's bad fractured bones. Surgery soon, I rasped, voice thick from meds. She paused, sharp. We'll sort it out. Stay calm. Dad grabbed the line. You document the fall. Get the property's insurance all business. No bolt to my bedside. I hung up, eyes glued to the door, betting they'd barge in. Nothing. My colleague swung by with work notes. A buddy burned rubber from across town to strategize my comeback. Even the building's maintenance guy, a near stranger, pinged a quick, get strong. Day 5 hit, I stabbed redial. Mom answered. A travel show blaring behind her. You okay? I pressed. You sound fine. She deflected, then shifted. Your sister's big trip is set, she's earned it. No whisper of them heading my way. That's the blade. They ditched my bedside for her Aruba glow, splashing beach pics online while I lay alone, counting ceiling tiles. But my ghost move with that hidden ace, it flipped their world. If family favoritism ever shoved you aside for someone else's spotlight, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you watching? And what's the time? Let's see this story spread. That hospital wait dragged me back to childhood. Growing up in Atlanta, I always trailed in my sister's shadow. Mom and Dad showered her with the good stuff, a shiny red convertible at 16 full-ride scholarships. Prom dresses that cost more than my wardrobe. I got her hand-me-down jeans, her scratched-up bike, her half-broken toys. You're tough, Shannon, Mom would say, tossing me a faded jacket. She needs the boost. Dad nodded along, signing checks for her debate camps while I scraped by on library books. My sister, 4 years younger, was their star, their trophy. I was the spare, expected to clap from the sidelines. Fast forward to Miami. 3 years ago, I'd built a life as a marketer, pitching campaigns from a sleek downtown loft. That rainy Wednesday, I hustled out for a client lunch, juggling laptop and coffee. The stairwell was a death trap, wet tiles. No grip. My heel slipped, coffee flew, and I crashed down 6 steps, ankle twisting with a sickening pop, ribs screaming on impact. The ambulance ride blurred, nurses shouting stats as I gritted my teeth. Flat on the gurney, I called Mom again. Voice raw. They're saying multiple fractures, can you come? She sighed, papers rustling. We're slammed. Honey. Work's piling up. Dad chimed in, voice clipped. You got a lawyer on it. Faulty stairs. No plan to drive the 8 hours from Atlanta. I hung up, pulse racing, alone. Then my colleague Nina showed up, arms full of takeout and my spare charger. Oscar, my buddy from the suburbs, pulled an all-nighter to sit by my bed, cracking jokes about my hospital gown. Their visits kept me grounded, but Mom and Dad's absence burned deeper than the bruises. Each beep of the monitor marked another hour they didn't show. Out of the hospital, I faced the grind. My Miami apartment felt like a cage with that cast weighing me down. No driving for weeks. Nina stepped up, hauling groceries and meds on her lunch breaks, her quick visits a lifeline. I shuffled through rehab sessions, wincing at every step, piecing my routine back together. 3 weeks post-discharge, my phone buzzed, my sister calling. Her voice bubbled over, smug as ever. You won't believe this. Shannon, Mom, and Dad are treating me to Aruba $25,000. All in. 5-star everything. I gripped the phone, jaw tight. She rambled on about private beaches, infinity pools, the works, like I wasn't fresh off a stretcher. You should see the itinerary, she chirped. Oblivious. I muttered a week sounds nice and hung up. Her excitement like salt in a wound. Later that night, I scrolled Instagram out of habit. And there it was. Mom posing with a cocktail, Dad grinning in sunglasses, my sister front and center in a resort sundress. Caption screamed family vacay goals with palm tree emojis. Posted the day I'd beg them to come. My chest locked, breath short. Every like on that post felt like a slap. I swiped through more, them clinking glasses, her diving into turquoise waves, Mom tagging boutiques. Not one call to check if I'd made it home. Nina caught me staring at the screen, eyes burning. They're parading it online, she spat, scrolling herself. This is low. The public flaunt stung worse than their absence, a neon sign of where I stood. My sister's smug voice echoed, their smiles branded in my head. That moment flipped a switch. Favoritism wasn't just old scars, it was a fresh broadcast for the world to cheer. That Instagram sting pushed me to draw lines. By Thanksgiving, I skipped the usual Atlanta trek. Mom called a week before, voice syrupy over the phone. You're joining us. Right. Your sister's got the table planned. I cut her off. Not this year. I'm staying put. Silence stretched. Then she huffed. Work's got us buried. Shannon. But we'll miss you. Dad jumped in. Gruff as ever. Gas prices are wild, makes sense to stay. No push to change my mind. I hung up, knuckles white, the excuse ringing hollow. Christmas rolled up, same deal. I passed on the invite, citing rehab appointments. Mom pressed harder this time. Voice sharp. Family's supposed to stick together. Don't be selfish, I snapped back. Then why wasn't anyone there when I needed you? She stammered, blaming schedules and deadlines. Dad doubled down, muttering about my attitude problem. The call ended in a dead click. Their words like a fresh bruise. Days later, my sister sent a text, a link to some blog post titled, Why Family Always Comes First. I skimmed it. Her note attached. Thought you'd get this. It was all about loyalty and sacrifice, dripping with irony. She'd framed it like I'd failed them. Not the other way around. I tossed my phone. Done with the guilt trip. That's when I booked my first session with Dr. Ingrid Gonzalez, my therapist in Miami. She leaned forward, notepad ready, voice steady. Tell me about growing up. When did you first feel overlooked? I spilled it all, the hand-me-downs, the sidelined dreams, the Aruba slap still raw. Dr. Gonzalez nodded, jotting notes. Let's unpack that weight, she said. Each session peeled back layers, exposing the roots of my resentment. I wasn't just healing bones anymore. I was facing the cracks they'd left in me. Therapy lit a spark. I dove into rebuilding my life in Miami, leaning hard on Nina and Oscar. Nina dragged me to her backyard barbecues, her loud laughs pulling me out of my funk. Oscar, always scheming, set me up with Howard, his old college buddy. Howard showed up at a beachside cafe. All easy smiles and sharp questions about my marketing gigs. Our first date stretched late, swapping stories over tacos. His calm vibe steadying me. We clicked, and soon he was at my place, helping unpack art supplies I'd ignored since the accident. Months later, Aunt Kay, my dad's sister, rolled into town from Atlanta over coffee. She pulled out a faded photo album, her fingers tracing old family shots. They always propped your sister up, she said, pointing to a picture of Stacy in a sparkly pageant crown, me barely visible in the back. I saw it. Even then. Her words landed heavy, confirming the favoritism wasn't just in my head. She hugged me tight, promising to have my back. I poured that fire into work, pitching bolder campaigns, My boss noticed, handing me a promotion to senior marketer with a corner desk. On the side, I started posting my sketches online, abstract swirls of Miami's sunsets. Orders trickled in, then flooded. My Etsy shop buzzing with sales. Nina helped pack prints, joking about my art empire. Howard built me a website, his tech skills turning my hobby into a side hustle. Oscar cheered every milestone, texting memes when I hit my first $1,000. By year's end, I wasn't just surviving, I was carving out my own space, surrounded by people who showed up. No strings attached. Their loyalty outshone the family I'd been chasing. 2 years on, a call pulled me back. Grandma June, my grandmother, passed at 92, and I drove to Atlanta for her funeral. The service buzzed with cousins and uncles, their hugs warm but distant. Aunt Kay stood by me, her arm looped through mine as we faced the crowd. I spotted Mom and Dad across the room, their faces stiff. My sister Stacy beside them, scrolling her phone. After the eulogy, I cornered them outside the chapel, my voice steady but sharp. Why was it always her even when I was broken? You chose her trip. Mom flinched, her eyes darting. We had commitments. Shannon? You were fine. Dad crossed his arms. You're blowing this out of proportion. Stacy rolled her eyes, cutting in. Stop playing the victim, it's exhausting. I held my ground, words spilling fast. You left me alone in a hospital bed to post her beach selfies. Aunt Kay stepped up, her tone cold. I saw it years ago, proms, cars, always her. Never Shannon. She pulled out her phone, flashing a family chat where Mom bragged about Stacy's big win the week of my surgery. The air froze. Mom stammered. That's not the whole story. Dad muttered about timing. Stacy scoffed. You're just jealous. No apologies. No cracks in their wall. I took a breath, done chasing their regret. Howard and I are leaving Miami for good, I said, voice calm. We're starting fresh, somewhere new. Their jaws dropped, Mom's hand twitched. Dad blinked hard. Stacy froze mid-scroll. The secret of my relocation hit them like a slap they didn't see coming. Aunt Kay squeezed my shoulder, nodding. I walked away, their stunned silence louder than any words. That day, I buried more than Grandma June. I laid their hold on me to rest. Leaving Atlanta, I cut ties. I blocked Mom, Dad, and Stacy on every app. Their profiles vanishing from my feeds like a bad memory erased. Howard and I packed up Miami for a quiet town in Oregon, his urban planning job lining up perfectly with my remote marketing gigs. No forwarding address, no goodbye notes, just a clean break. Aunt Kay texted once, understanding my silence, but even she faded as I focused forward. Months blurred into a new rhythm. Nina and Oscar video called weekly. Their updates on life pulling laughs from me I hadn't heard in years. Howard planned hikes through pine trails, his hand in mine a steady anchor. My art sales boomed online, buyers snapping up prints of coastal sketches, the income letting me freelance without stress. Dr. Gonzalez's final session echoed in my head, her nod when I said I was done chasing approval. News trickled back through distant cousins. Mom and Dad aged alone in that big Atlanta house. Holiday tables empty as relatives sided away, tired of their favoritism tales. They reached out to old friends, but doors stayed shut. Their social circles shrinking to echoes. Dad's golf buddies drifted. Mom's book club dissolved. Isolation hit hard, the kind where phone calls go unanswered. Evenings stretch silent. Stacy's world cracked too, her constant online boasts backfired at work. Bosses citing image issues after a viral post clashed with company values. She lost her marketing role, scrambling for gigs while relationships frayed. Friends ghosting her drama. No wedding invites came her way anymore. Her feed a ghost town of old likes. I heard it all secondhand, feeling no pull to reach out. Instead, I thrived. Nina flew in for my first Oregon art show. Oscar sent care packages of coffee beans. Howard and I hosted game nights, laughter filling rooms that felt like home. Therapy taught me blood doesn't bind, effort does. Choosing myself wasn't selfish, it was survival. Family isn't obligation, it's mutual choice. Showing up when it counts. They had chances. Blew them on priorities that never included me. Now, I wake to sunrises with people who celebrate my wins. No audits on my worth. The lesson self-respect isn't optional, it's the foundation. Value comes from those who see you fully, not scraps from those who don't. I've never felt more whole. Surrounded by love earned, not owed. Blood ties faded. Chosen bonds shone brighter. And honestly, peace like this, it's the real victory.